Good afternoon, Jan.
Good afternoon, Michael. I
Uh,
was rushing to get in time.
yeah, goodness.
It's like sometimes time goes faster and sometimes time goes slower.
Mhm. Yeah, funny how that happens. Yeah, I've been getting quite a lot done on the Factual MCP server. So I've got something that I'm going to try out. Now, of course, this is the first time I've installed it on this machine, so we will see. Um, but yeah, that install process, I'm thinking, yeah, I saved it for the stream so that yeah, it kind of demonstrates how all the pieces fit together. Even though this isn't something that the
Okay.
end user is going to do, the end user will just accept an invitation code or sign up for an account and then start going.
Mhm.
But we'll peek behind the covers.
Okay. Looking forward to it.
Excellent, excellent. Um, yeah, and yeah, last week we had somebody join right at the last minute, so
Mhm.
hopefully they'll be able to hop in today. But yeah, let me get things started with this screen share. Okay. Yeah. So starting off with the Factual MCP, did a whole bunch of work over this past week. So um, so what we have seen before on this channel is basically uh, uh, the local version of it. So it just ran in standard I/O and and it didn't connect to a real replicator. But now it's connecting to a real replicator. It runs over HTTP and it's got authentication. So let me flip to yeah, there we go. So um, this is the project. Go ahead and start with the README. Um, so to set this thing up, this runs in a Docker Compose stack, um, and so I'm going to make sure that it all works well in Docker Compose, and that'll be where I do my primary development on it, and then deploy it to the cloud as cloud resources that are all configured to talk to each other, and then the end user is going to have a really good experience just accessing it on the cloud. Uh, so this is not a public repo. This is I'm going to be releasing this as a service. Okay, but let's go ahead and start things off. We've got this nice little script that helps walk through the setup. So I'll just run that for the first time on this machine. I have run this on my Mac, so I know at least parts of it work, but we will see. Okay, so we've got the prerequisites. Docker started. The ports are free. And we've got a .env example that we have copied to deploy.env and generated some keys. So we've got our Postgres password, and I can actually show those since they are just local. This isn't giving away any secrets yet. But yeah, over here in deploy, this is where we've got our Docker Compose stack. All the fun stuff up here. And there's our env example. And so it generated a nice random hexadecimal password. So now that's also part of the URL to access the Postgres auth server.
Mhm.
So filled in a key for cookies. So the next thing that we need to set up is how to authenticate. So right now I've got it built with Google and with GitHub. So I will go ahead and do the Google Auth because I did the GitHub Auth on my laptop. So let's see if the Google Auth actually works. This is going to be brand new. Okay, so let me scoot this up a little bit so we can see it better. All right, so we're going to set up Google Auth. We could set up both. It'll go through both of these processes, or we could use a fake identity provider if you just want to do local development on it. But we'll set up the Google Auth. So this just opened up a browser tab on my other screen. I'm going to keep this on my other screen because there's going to be some secrets displayed here. So I'm going to get signed in. Well, I think this part I can show. Otherwise, it would be a real boring, just me talking for a while and not seeing anything. Okay. All right. I need you to shrink. I don't think that's shrinking, is it? This is the strangest browser window. Yeah, I have no idea what's... Okay. If I could get to another edge... Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness, this is a weird browser window. Okay. Now we are... Okay, that should be good enough. Okay, so... This is going to be my old email address. They both go to the same place, so whatever you like. And then my Google password. Let's see if I can find it in the key store. Okay, I need to open my personal projects. And that's where I will find my Google. Oh my goodness. Yeah, maybe Alright, let me pull this over here. I know that I've got it in LastPass, so I'll just copy it out of there. Copy it there. Log in. Okay. There we are. Oh yeah, this is... Yeah. Keep my data separate. Oh my goodness. Continue to work in this profile. Is saved only on this device? Yeah. What am I doing here? All right, there we go. Okay, so now we are in the Google Cloud credentials, so we can create some credentials for applications to sign in using Google. You can see here I've got one that I set up on April 19th. What was I doing with that one? That was Gemini? I don't remember setting that up. But, yeah, so we've got that opened. We create a project, configure OAuth consent screen. So here's our credentials. We create a project. It says create credentials. OAuth client ID. So you can access users' data. Yeah, that's the one. And yeah, so now we have to configure the consent screen. All right, so this app is going to be Factual MCP. And we will set the support email. This is going to be an internal audience, I believe. Only available within your... No, let's make this external, yeah. Okay. And yeah, we will use the email that everybody already knows. Boom. And agree. Okay. So now I've got an OAuth project. Okay, you haven't configured any auth clients for this project. That is the next part, right? So consent screen, and then we haven't gotten to the scopes yet. So create client credentials, OAuth client ID, web application. So we want a web application right there at the top. And this is going to be the name of your auth client, Factual MCP. And then we've got our authorized origins and authorized redirect URLs. We need to set that up. Yeah, here's the authorized redirect URL. So it can get back to localhost and deliver our credentials, our secret. And then I think, let's see, authorized JavaScript origins. Okay, I think that's, okay, that's for course. And since we're using localhost, and we're not doing this in a, well, we are doing this in a browser, I think we don't need to add that to course. So now we should create that. Okay, here's our client ID, and then here is a client secret. Okay, well, I'm going to have to burn that secret when we're done. But yeah, so this client ID and this client secret will let you set up a client that can log in using using Google. So let's grab that client ID, copy the client ID and client secret from the dialog. Okay. And then, yeah. Well, it's not continuing. Okay, I think I might have to close the dialog for it to continue. But, so I will go to Notepad and, yep. Let's do the client ID is that, and the client secret, which you've already seen. Client secret. Okay, that's a short secret. All right. Okay, we've got that. And then our Factual MCP is set up. Let's see if closing this allows that to continue. It does. Cool. All right. Client ID is this. Boom. Client secret is that. Yeah, I don't think it was showing any paste. Yeah, okay, so it wasn't showing any paste feedback, but yep, that took that. Okay, let's get that off screen. I will burn those as soon as we're done here. But in the meantime, okay, so it's pulling down all of the images that it needs for the Docker Compose stack. So we've got our replicator, Nginx, Redis, and of course Postgres. The replicator has Postgres built into it, and that's the standard Janaga replicator. But we also have a Postgres image standing on its own, because the multi-tenant Janaga replicator doesn't have an image that's published, and this project uses both. So the single tenant Janaga replicator is used for the control plane. So that keeps track of your applications, your workspaces, your factual models. Those all go into that control plane. So you're writing factual and storing that inside of facts. The multi-tenant replicator is for the end user's data. So when they set up their data or their application, they excuse me, they get their own tenant within that multi-tenant replicator. Okay, the MCP Auth server says it failed to start. Let's just double check in Docker Desktop and see what has actually started. So here's our Factual MCP, the auth server. Let's give that another try. Nope, that shut down. And the MCP server. Well, let's see what is going on here. Cannot read signing key. Generate one with npm run keygen. I don't understand. Let's see. Well, let's just see what it did with our environment env. So now we've got our client ID and our secret. So double check that the secret is correct. And nope, the secret is not correct. The secret was doubled up because I pasted twice and I didn't see any feedback. There we go. So that might be the reason for the failure. So now we've got the proper secret in there. And so now I'm going to do a docker compose down. I need to switch to deploy. And then docker compose down. That should stop everything. And take down the containers, but it keeps the volumes. And then when I do docker compose up, it's going to recreate those containers. Hey, our replicator is running. And yes, failed to start there. Then that started. And let's see. Where is... Okay, yeah, that's still having trouble. Okay, let's get a little bit of help on this. And if we can't get this working, then I will just go ahead and burn that key right now, and we will switch over to GitHub. So, Claude, help me out. Actually, I want Claude to be started out here. All right. All right, there's the error after I started the stack. Let's see if it can figure this out. Okay, let's also just double check that, yeah, have we got anybody joining us on the stream still? No guests yet. Okay. All right, the key was written. Restart the auth server. So, okay, we could tell it to go ahead and run that command, but using exclamation point, I will run that command myself. So that restarts the auth server. And that should... Oh, okay, it started. That was really weird. Okay, yeah, everything is running now. Yeah, but I took everything down and built it back up again. So, all right, it must have a just a startup dependency order that's... yeah, okay, so I can work through those. But now, this should be an MCP server that is ready for me to use. So the Factual MCP is listening at port 8080. And so up here, before I did everything, it should have printed out instructions. It didn't print out instructions. Okay. Let's get back here and run the set up the script again, and this should recognize that everything is already set up. So yep, I want to keep it. And then let's skip the configuration. I can come back here and configure GitHub, but right now I will skip that. So yeah, it's going to shut everything down, start it back up again. Let's see if it actually, yeah, it's data up this time. That's good. All right, now we've got our instructions. So the stack is up. Now we can configure our MCP clients. And so this is a part that the end user is going to have to do for themselves. But these instructions will be up on a nice website after they've set up their account. So let's go to Cursor. And let's get that set up.
But why is he showing the instructions now and before he wasn't?
I'm not certain about that.
Because
yeah.
we had to rerun the startup procedure and skipping everything.
Yeah, when I ran it through with GitHub, it did show the instructions right after it set up the GitHub account. So
okay, so
yeah.
this time you selected for the GitHub account.
This time I selected neither. So so yeah, I said, okay, keep the configuration we've got, and then let's go to 5. Let's skip the setup. Yeah. And then I said, okay, let me just make sure that everything is fresh. So run it through. Okay. And then I have Cursor over here. All right, let's close everything. There we go. Hey, Opus 4.8, yay! Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been using Opus 4.8. When it first launched, I don't think that they had updated the Cloud Code harness because it was making a lot of mistakes. But then I saw an update of the Cloud Code harness and tried it again. Yeah, but that first day I had to switch back to 4.7. Like, no, this is not baked. But yeah, now it's good. Okay, so yeah, it doesn't matter what project we're in right now. We are inside of a demo project. I think this is for factory engineering. Yeah, this is the factory engineering demo. Yeah, oh, I can see it right there. Okay, so we want to go to our Cursor settings and go to agents. And yeah, in here we want to configure our MCP servers. So I will copy the Factual MCP server. Okay, so within here we've got oh, tools and MCP. There it is. Yeah, so Context 7, GitHub, Playwright, the common set that everybody should have. And now let's add another one. So in here I will add Factual. Okay, and now I can format the document, make it nice and pretty. But yeah, that's it. Just the Factual MCP connects to this MCP endpoint. Right now, running on localhost, but when excuse me, when this is published to the web for everybody to use, this is going to be some publicly available endpoint. So save that. And now I've got Factual in here, but it needs authentication. All right, well, let's go ahead and authenticate. And that opens up a nice browser window. Not one of those weird browser windows, but still not properly formatted for the screen.
For this to appear, you pressed on the connect button there.
Yes, either the connect button or just over here needs authentication. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to sign in with my Google account. This just so happens to be the same one that I used to create the application, but that is not a requirement. So sign in to Factual MCP. You're going to share your name and email address. Okay, let's continue. Oops. All right. Internal server error. Okay, so it looks like we've got some bugs down this identity path. Might be a good idea to just switch over to GitHub, which I have tested to be working, and get that going. So, in the meantime, I'm going to come back over here, and I'm going to go to the Google. Well, I can still do this part on screen. So I want to go to the Google Apps credentials. So, yeah. Log into the Google Cloud Console. Yep, that's me. Okay. And so the first thing that I want to do is go to the credentials, and where did the credentials go? Let's see, where were we to? Oh, credentials. I think, is that one the right one? Yeah, Factual MCP. Okay, let's just delete that. So, yeah, now those credentials that I showed everybody don't work. So don't worry about them. Okay, and then I will come back here and we will run through the the GitHub. So I'm going to let's back it up, and then let's start with the GitHub auth number 1. All right, so that opens up this this weird browser again, but now we are logging in with GitHub. So this one I'm going to pull off to the side because I have already grabbed my GitHub credentials and put them into my key store. So I just need to find those credentials. They're under Janaka. They are GitHub application. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so here, well, I'm going to close the browser window so that this continues, and then I can hit enter. So now I'm going to drag this one over here so that I can copy the client ID and client secret in there. All right, so there's my client ID and my client secret. Okay, so that is set up. And now I am going to make sure that, okay. Yeah, we will probably need to burn those two. I think they flashed. All right. So now this has failed to start again. Let's see. Go to Docker. Here's a Docker. All right, the auth server. Is that going to start up? No, it's not. Okay. Well, let's run the setup again, and then just have it keep those and skip the reconditioning or reinstallation and see if that, no, that didn't do it there. Start. Okay. What was the magic command that it used last time? I'm going to go back to Claude. And I'm just going to say /resume. Okay.
Well, the moment you asked it for help last time, it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, so there it was, docker compose f restart. All right, well, let's try it again. Okay, that time it didn't work. Check the logs. Okay, so we're going to do a docker compose logs auth server. Let's see what's going on in there. And so we are going to take a look at the Postgres credentials. The Postgres credentials don't match. It regenerated those. So it probably just needs to restart the Postgres container. So the root was changed, yep, and so let's look at Docker volume. Oh, okay, it's going to need to bring down the volume. All right, so it's going to inspect those. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell it to delete all volumes and create new ones. So that is actually going to delete the Postgres database that's behind that that container. So delete all files, start new ones. So yeah, this is Docker compose. From this file down -v is what deletes the volumes. And I've noticed that if you switch to, oh, I can't do it right now, but if you switch to auto run, it refuses commands like this. It says, wait a minute, that's going to destroy data, which is awesome. So that's why I'm confirming every single command. So, okay, it just needed to fix the syntax. Docker compose, not there. Oh, we are inside of, yeah, I started it inside of the Docker compose folder. There we go. And now we do a Docker compose up -d to disconnect so we don't see everything running in standard IO. But yeah, it is starting up all of the things. There we go. Everything has started. Okay, that's what it took.
Not bad for a first run.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so now it's going to take a look at the logs. Yeah, look at the work that you did. You did good. All right, we got the signing key fixed, we got the Postgres auth failure fixed. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, let's delete that back up. The credentials that are in there don't matter anyway. So yeah, this is another one that it would say, well, no, actually it would probably allow this one, especially because it saw my approval in the, or my explicit command in the history. Okay. There we have it. So now we have the MCP server running with GitHub credentials rather than Google credentials. So when I go back to cursor, there we are. Then it should be the same idea. So let's authenticate. Oops, something went wrong. The client is invalid. Okay. I'm curious if I have copied the client ID incorrectly. Or this actually is something that that sometimes happens with cursor. It may have cached those request parameters. So let's delete that, and let's just restart cursor altogether. And cursor always takes a little bit of time to get started. And in the meantime, I need to find the command again, or the configuration. And yeah, you're right, it didn't happen this time either. So let's run that setup. Let's keep it. Let's skip it. It's gonna rebuild the stack anyway. And then, here we go. Try that again. Cursor, are you up yet? There's cursor. Okay. Now let's see if this works. I have on my laptop had to issue a command that goes into Cursor's SQLite database and deletes a row. So that was a little bit scary, but let's
SQLite database.
Yep, it uses SQLite under the covers.
And what exactly was it doing, or why was that?
Yeah, that was because it had cached the things like the client ID, the parameters that it needs in order to authenticate, rather than asking the authentication endpoint for that information a second time. And so, yeah, I even found that doing this didn't force it to clear its cache. So here's hoping that this time it does. Nope, did not. Yeah, okay, so now I'm curious. Now I'm just curious. So let's go to jwt.io and let's take a look at what is this thing. Okay, so we've got user factual workspace ID attempt. Oh, that's not the part of the payload that that has anything interesting in it. Yeah, so right here, that client ID is what we are looking at. So that client ID is not right. Oh wait, no, that one was Google. Here is GitHub. Yeah, that client ID is not right. I wonder why not. Yeah, just double checking the dates here, looking at the history of this secret that I'm looking at on another screen. Oh no, okay, this one was created in 2023. I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, so let's see if I've got the correct one. Let's see, Janaka host, Janaka Postgres, Cloud App. Maybe I just saved it in the wrong place. Okay. Well, what I could do is I could try to just try to create a new one. Well, I'm looking through my keys, and I expected to see some other place. So maybe I stored it under GitHub. Here's GitHub. There is... yeah, no, it's not under that one. Okay. Yeah, let's actually just walk through this same process, but with GitHub, and see if that works. So the first thing I'm going to do is docker compose -f, and let's go to the deploy. Yeah, docker compose YAML, and then we're going to do down -v. So that's going to destroy all of the volumes and take everything down. Okay, that's gone. So now we are starting fresh. And so I'm going to start a new script, setup. Okay, so let's back this up. And we are going to do GitHub auth. So 1. And now that's going to open the browser. There we go. And we sign in. And we use multi-factor authentication because some idiot might be doing this live on the internet. Okay. All right, so register a new OAuth app. So I should already have an OAuth app registered. So what I'm going to do is, rather than use this new, I will hit cancel. And here's my Janaga MCP app. So for that one, I have a key that I added 5 days ago, but I can't see that key. That's fine. And here is the client ID. So for this, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to make sure that I don't have anything open here. Good. And let's go back into Notepad, and let's do client ID and paste that. And then I will do client secret. And for this, I'm going to generate a new secret. So I want to generate a new secret. And now I can copy that one. Okay. So now that will allow me to close this window. Boom, that comes up. And now I can enter my client ID and client secret. So pressing enter, grabbing the client ID, and grabbing the client secret. And now it's restarting everything. Ooh. And let's see. Yeah, it's actually rebuilding everything. We've deleted volumes and everything. And yeah, it brings up the instructions. Okay, that's how it's supposed to do things. Yeah, yeah, it all started cleanly that time. So let's see, have I already got this set in cursor? I think I do. Yeah, so let's see if hitting this button works. No, that doesn't, but it's still using this old client ID. So let's delete, and
Connect again.
restart cursor, and see if it's going to use the correct client ID. Yeah, again, all of the stuff that's going wrong will be things that are already done once for the backend application. This part here that the user does, you can see this has no authentication information built in, so it's just that. So this is the part that should not go wrong.
No.
Okay. Yeah, but you can see that client ID is still cached. Yeah, so I think this is Cursor pulling that from its local database and messing with us. So let's see if we can get Claude to tell us what that command is. Install the MCP into Cursor. At first, I had the wrong client ID configured for GitHub. And then after I fixed it, and try it again, I got this error from, here's the URL, and here's the error, the whole thing. Okay, so from that, it should be able to see the client ID that it was trying to use, and it might even hit the well-known endpoint on the auth server and figure out what the client ID should be. Oh, clean up cursor MCP. I forgot about that file. So yeah, when I was doing this on the laptop and ran into this problem, it created this cleanup script for me. So it smells like a stale dynamic client registration problem. It's a known issue. It's not a GitHub problem, so let me confirm the recovery command. Perfect. Yeah, that's an invalid client. You need to make Cursor throw away its cached client. So Cursor's UI, uninstall and reinstall. I already tried that. Option B, the client cleanup script. So that's going to be this. So we can do the dry run and preview what it's going to do, and then it'll run the preview. So yeah, let's do the dry one. And yeah, this is what goes into the Cursor. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So this is what goes into the Cursor SQLite database. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this is running inside of WSL, and Cursor's running in Windows, so it won't be able to do that. Yeah. So you're in WSL. Okay, I figured that out. But Cursor is almost certainly on a Windows install. Yes. So now it's trying to locate it in the mount. So yeah, search for the user. Yeah, it found mpair. Roaming data Cursor. Yeah, it just reached right outside of WSL and said, hey, I can fix this. Okay, found it. Let me point to that. In the meantime, I am going to shut down Cursor because I know that this is going to mess things up. Okay, so we want to look for the oh, there's the good old wall. I remember many episodes where we were trying to figure out the SQLite write-ahead log.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to see if that row is in there.
Cursor is using SQLite to store its overall configuration.
Yes, yes, and its history of sessions. So yeah, when you use Cursor and you say, "Oh, I want to go back to that session," that's loading it from SQLite. So this is going to make a mirror of it. So it's going to make a copy and then run the command inside that copy. So this is how it's doing the dry run. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, I definitely want this experience to be seamless for the end user, because if they have to go through something like this, it's like, nope, not even gonna bother. Okay, so the base URL decodes cursor's cached DCR client registration. Okay, yeah, DCR is the standard for being able to select how to log in. So if I were to configure both GitHub and Google, then it would use DCR to pick. So this dry run ran against a copy. Yep, so yeah, so it still wants me to go with option A. We've already tried that. So go with option B. So this is going to run the script natively on... Oh, wait a minute. Okay. It's not going to be able to do this. Let's see. All right, let me make sure I understand what it's asking. So clearing that one forces this, but there's a caveat. It's a copy. The actual delete must hit the real file. Yeah. Delete the row in the real file. If it messes something up in this process, this particular cursor installation is not valuable to me. I don't have any history in here that's worth keeping. So I need cursor closed. It is closed. Okay, so it should be able to find that. Yep, no cursor process running on Windows. Good. That part I'm actually surprised that it's able to do from WSL. So back up the real file, do a fresh local copy. Yeah, okay, so it's trying to be exceedingly safe. Even though it doesn't matter to me, go ahead and do it. The row is deleted in the local copy. Now I'll verify it's gone. So it's going to run cleanup cursor. And so it looks like it's doing a dry run against that. So it's going to see if the script tells it that the row doesn't exist. Yeah, 0 rows to delete. Okay. So now it copies it back. And then validating. Yeah, same checksum. This is more thorough than I would be. So cursor's closed. We deleted it. So now reopen cursor and log in, see if it works. Precisely what I would love to do. Okay. That one's not interesting. There we go. Here are MCP servers. And we have Factual. Needs authentication. Boom. So that refreshes it. Yes, now it got some credentials. Let's open cursor. That's the other tab.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it needs authentication again. Let's double check this here. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe that wasn't the other tab. Try again. Open cursor. Yeah, that was the other tab. Yeah. Nope. Needs authentication. Let's... there was a way that you could see the error output. Okay. Well, let's see if it can find any errors. Still says needs authentication after I logged in. Check the Docker containers, container logs for errors. So we want to do a logs auth server. So take a look at that one first, and then do a logs MCP server. Look at that one. And yeah, it looks like that's just a informational or a warning maybe. So yeah, no information in the logs. So now what's it going to try to do? Let me look at the MCP server and see how it validates tokens and probes endpoints. So looks like it's going back into the same logs. I'm not sure what it's looking for this time though. So it's looking at the JWT validation. But the JWT validation must have succeeded for it to get back to cursor like that. I thought. Oh, the can4 one for various reasons. Let me check the runtime config. So let's look at the... Okay, it's going to execute on the MCP server. It's going to grep the... it's going to grep the environment. Okay. The env file. Oh, that would be .env though. Okay. No, these are environment variables. So yeah, found those environment variables and they are properly set up. Yeah, it's that one just says auth server because it's one container talking to another one. So that all lines up. So let's see whether GitHub Identity actually has a membership. Did the auth server resolve a workspace claim? And so we are going to go back to auth server environment and look for the control replicator. Okay, so it's finding where the control replicator is, and it should then peek into that one. Let's see. So yeah, there's the... Yeah, it should peek into that one and see how the replicator is authorizing. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, actually, I think this is expected. There's another step that that needs to happen, which will happen on the the website once that's set up, and that is to set up a workspace. So, yeah. So that's what it's figuring out here. So the resolver does the login, and then it queries memberships for users. It finds none, and so there is a script that needs to be run. So let me just go ahead and tell it. There is a script I need to run to set that up. What is it? All these instructions are in the README, so it should be able to find
it.
Yeah. So npm run seed workspace, and that's it. Yeah. So it'll prompt for the auth identity to seed. So I'm going to exit from here so that we can just run that right here. Well, it ran into some difficulties. So run that command. And then it should see the same difficulties.
Yeah.
Maybe I needed to change directories. Yeah, script is interactive. Okay. Okay, yeah, that is the same error that we got. The script imports this. Oh, I probably need to do an npm run install npm build. So let's try. Let's just tell it. What do the instructions say? Do we need to npm install and npm run build? Those are going to be important steps. Yeah, that's the relevant one. Okay. Yeah, so run it. Actually, what is it suggesting? Yes, run the build.
Easier to let it do the work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's where you have to be very careful about the line between cognitive offloading and cognitive surrender. So if you just blindly say, yeah, accept what it's saying, okay, that's cognitive surrender. It's like, I don't understand what it's doing. But stay on this side of that line and understand everything. Then you're still in control. Okay. So control plane built cleanly. The build did fail, but only MCP server, which is unrelated to seeding and doesn't block it. Okay, which is weird because it was able to create the Docker image, and that image builds the MCP server. So, oh goodness. The cat just tried to jump up here and failed.
Yeah. It failed.
Yeah. Yeah, it took a laptop out with it. Yeah, the laptop will be fine. The cat, I don't know. Okay, so now what I want to do is let's exit from here and try this command again. Seed workspace. All right, perfect. This is what we should see. So this is saying, hey, I looked into the fact model, and I see that somebody just tried to authenticate. And so which one do you want me to seed? And so I say, yeah, row 0. Okay, so now it has actually created that workspace using a service account that the end user can't run. So so now that workspace is created. And so now if I hit this button, it should just redirect, come back in, and we are good.
Yeah.
Yes. There we go. Look at all those tools. All right, so yeah, maybe next week we'll actually run through what we can do with all of this stuff. But yeah, this is the MCP server using real authentication, real replicator, all running in Docker Compose, so that as you work with it, it's saving not just your factual model and application, but also saving your data. So so that means that you can then go to a brand new session, and you would be able to see the applications that you've already built. You would be able to work with that data again, and you can even go from one client to the next. So Cursor to Claude Code to MCP or to GitHub Copilot. So those are the three that I've tested it with so far. So all three of those clients work, and then yeah, you'll have a reusable and transferable application substrate. So I'm pretty excited about that.
I'm wandering to the demonstration of that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Because this is quite abstract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once it's deployed, and we don't have to go through all of those steps, you can see what the end user experience would actually be, and it'll be, of course, much smoother than that. They would still have to copy a little bit of JSON and pop it into mcp.json. But yeah, once it's deployed, then I can also enable the Claude Cowork connector. And so that's a plugin that kind of advertises this is the MCP server and how you configure it. So the user just selects the plugin from the marketplace, and so yeah, I want to use Janaga. Okay, boom, there you go. It's already set up for you. And then okay, let's log in. And it takes you to the website. You log in with the same credentials you used in order to create your account, and then everything starts working. Or if you haven't created your account yet, then it says, hey, this is how you use this connector, and you want to create an account. Here's your free trial. After that period expires, here's what it's going to cost. So that is all coming. The first release is going to be invitation only, so I will share an invitation code with you and with a few other people, get some feedback on how it works, and then can open it up for other people to sign up.
Okay. That was a hell of a ride today.
Yeah, that was fun. It almost didn't work.
Well, you always find a solution.
Yeah. Now I've got Claude at my back. It's even easier to find solutions. Yeah.
Yeah. On one side, it's getting easier, but on the other side, with all the platforms working together, with all the authentication in between, it's getting more complicated as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is the trade-off. Yeah, and yeah, that's kind of the frontier that I'm trying to explore right now. Is when I'm trying to teach people how to use AI, I have to teach them how to create a skill. How to install an MCP server. They need Python available. They need Bash. They need Git in order to collaborate. And so these are all developer tools. So what is the best experience for the non-developer? And so far it's Claude Cowork, but even that is not 100% perfect. So yeah, how do you give people what they need in order to be...
But even as developer, it's complicated.
Yeah.
when I set up on the laptop, just going through everything to have a development environment, I documented it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's incredible. All the things you have to load, all the
Mm.
things you have to install uh, in the correct sequence, or it doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'm going to run a few workshops at improving um, to make sure that that non-developers get all those things set up on their machines. Um, yeah, maybe even record some videos so that we can walk it through in the workshop. But then when you go home and you run into a problem, here's a video. Um, yeah, put all that content together. Um, yeah, that's it's going to be it's going to be content that has to be maintained because things are changing so fast. But yeah, but at the very least, yeah, installing Uvicorn. I'm pretty sure that you're going to need Uvicorn for a long time. You know, at least for a year, until we figure out something, something else to replace that. So yeah, here's how to set up Uvicorn. Here's how to set up npm and Node. Or NVM, so you could select. Maybe we won't go all the way to NVM. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. So here's all the here's how you set up Git. Here's for instructions for Windows and for Mac. Yeah, that's going to be a valuable uh, set of content just in and of itself, and I think at least at that level, it has a long shelf life. And then once you get down into, now let's install it into Cursor. Well, that's going to change. Yeah, let's install that into Cloud Cowork, Cloud Code, um, on the desktop and then the command line. Yeah, all those things are going to change very quickly. So, yeah.
Yeah. Things used to be easy, just MS-DOS.
Yes. Yeah.
People complained that it was too difficult, and then they invented Windows.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. How's that working out?
yeah, now we have Windows.
Mm-hmm.
But it's amazing that Claude, even from WSL, gets back to Windows.
Mm-hmm.
It finds its way through every layer.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is the MCP setup. So yeah, next week we will dive a bit deeper into using it. And yeah. And until then, just keep on working on cool stuff.
Yeah, still figuring out how to make the model for the Jinaga documentation.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought about something else. There is also GitHub with all the projects,
Mm-hmm.
especially your projects which are using Jinaga.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that might serve as very good code samples as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, some of them are quite dated. So things have changed over time, but but I think I've maintained at least some backward compatibility over the many generations. So so you might be able to learn have the agent learn something from those old code examples, but then reference the new API and say, oh, how could I improve on this? So yeah, that's an interesting experiment.
Let's see. I'm still figuring out about all this chunking stuff, how to get it in, because I don't get how the machine can come up with a good chunking.
Mm-hmm.
But okay.
Yeah, and I will have to show you the custom eval framework for the Factual MCP. Yeah, so rather than using an eval framework off the shelf, I've basically told Claude these are the things that I want to be able to do with evals, and so basically it is a full end-to-end test, starting with the prompt and then getting some results after several rounds. So it's able to actually run the the actual MCP tools, get responses from those tools, make another pass, and then say, okay, you asked me to do
And
this.
improve itself.
Yeah. So yeah, that even helps me to check things like the error messages. So if it creates some incorrect factual and then it gets back an error message, is that sufficient for it to fix it and get it right on the second pass? So so yeah, rather than try to get everything right all up front, let it learn through that process. So that's going to be an exciting part to demo as well.
Good. Looking forward to that. All right. Next week. Next week. Yes, I will be there.
Excellent. Very good.
You will be there as well, I hope.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Okay. Okay then, Michael. See you next week.
Yeah. See you then, yeah.